best in radio. It's all about what's next. Go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com and sign up for your free weekly newsletter. You'll also get 3 free reports. The Financial Survival Network. It's all about what's next.
And welcome. You're listening to the Financial Survival Network. It's Kerry, Lutz, and hey, we've got Wayne Allyn Root with us because we wanted to get a preview of what exactly is going to happen, what the result of today's elections are going to be. And Wayne, welcome.
Hey, Kerry, great to be on with you on this incredibly important day. And on days like this where I'm predicting a Republican landslide, this is kind of like Christmas to me. You know, it's another one of my favorite holidays. This is the election day I've been waiting for since 2010. That was the last time I had a Christmas day on election day. And I think today will be a Christmas day for all the conservatives and Republicans and Tea Partiers and taxpayers and homeowners and business owners. You know, if you're one of the class that's the makers, not the takers, this is going to be like Christmas Day.
Yeah. So what's going to be his response if they lose the Senate? If Harry Reid, your senator, the senator from your state, is no longer
Don't
calling
blame me
the shots.
now.
I know you didn't vote for him. I know, but what's going to happen there? What do you see? What do you see happening?
Well, first of all, I've been predicting for a while now we were going to have a stock market crash, and being that you can't do anything about Obamacare, no matter how hard the new Republican Senate tries, you can't repeal Obamacare. It'll be vetoed by Obama. I see terrible economic times ahead. Europe just entered into a triple dip recession. How do I know? It's not Wayne Root telling you. Goldman Sachs internal model reported today Europe is in a triple dip in recession, and they're our number one buyer of products. If you don't think that's going to hurt us, I got a bridge to sell you in Brooklyn. So, we're headed for some really rough seas and rough times. And of course, he'll try and blame it on the Republican Party. See what happened? They got elected. It's their fault. I can just see it now. It's just unbelievable. He just doesn't give up. One thing I'm going to praise Barack Obama for the first time in my entire life. I'll do it on your show. I say the key to success in life is being relentless and being a relentless promoter, nonstop, and screaming from the highest mountaintops what you've achieved in life. Because if you don't tell people, no one else will ever, accept that you've achieved good things in life. It's up to you to tell them. Boy, he's good at those things. He's so good that he's achieved nothing but disaster, death, and depression. And he screams from the highest mountaintops, someone else is always to blame. And he's good at that, and it works. At least until now it worked, and it's only working today, to be honest with you, Kerry, because on midterm elections, it's only motivated, intensity-driven conservatives that show up. It's only educated people that show up. And all the people who voted for Obama, they don't even know it's Election Day. It's amazing. All over this country, I've seen the polls and I've seen the interviews. Obama's supporters don't even know there's an election today. That's how funny things are. You're dealing with people who don't know anything about any issue. I saw an interview on the street where they showed a picture. I think it was the Late Show on NBC TV, and they showed a picture of a white guy. It was Joe Biden, and they asked who he was, and the guy says, well, a black guy said, oh, he looked the picture out. He must be a Republican politician who hates Obama because he's white. It's just so funny how incredibly ignorant Obama's voters are. So we're not winning today because we've won over the whole country and we're making great inroads. We're winning today and we're not winning today because people like the GOP or conservative ideas. We're only going to win a landslide today because many of Obama's supporters are so ignorant they don't even know there's an election, and they're not going to come out. And B, we're winning today because a lot of people are angry at Obama, but they're not necessarily in love with the GOP. So I think it's the response to what happens today. Once Republicans get in and control the Senate and the House by large proportions, it's the response to a historic victory like that that will determine whether this was a blip in history that means nothing and long-term Democrats are in charge moving forward, or whether this is a new sea change. And I think it's going to be based on whether Republicans have the courage to do what's right when they get in and hold impeachment hearings, hold Obama accountable for the crimes he's committed and the violations of the Constitution and the executive orders and everything else that he's done that's terrible, hold his feet to the fire and start putting people in prison and impeach the president and repeal Obamacare. And if you can't do that, this will be a blip in history. It'll mean nothing.
But we're going to have, presumably, we're going to have Boehner. He's going to be the head of the House. Can we expect anything different from him? what he's done, even though presumably he'll have a Senate majority to caucus with as well. Do they have the stones to take on Comrade Obama?
Well, I don't know. My answer is probably not, but I'm hopeful. I'm always hopeful. Like Obama, that's another thing he does good. If you give people hope, they like you. And if you don't give them hope, they don't like you. It's a fact of life. Try and sell someone something that doesn't have hope, then nobody wants to buy it. And so Obama's lived on hope his whole entire political career. It's all about hope and change. And of course, we know there's been no hope, and it's hopeless at this point, and the only change is what's left in your pocket after he gets done with you. But the reality is you got to give people hope. And so here's my hope. Sometimes people do change their stripes. Sometimes lions and tigers change their stripes, and zebras change their stripes. And maybe John Boehner will change his stripes. The reality is he may be forced to have some stones and some courage or some balls, whatever cojones, whatever word you want to use, by a massive landslide. He may get motivated to understand that he's got the right now, where he's been given the permission to have stones and to go after Obama. Maybe he'll become a completely different person. But if he doesn't, Kerry, fire him. We got to fire him. It's as simple as that. Mitch McConnell and John Boehner need to be fired if they don't produce. And my hope is that neither one of them gets the chairmanship. In other words, there's no law that says Mitch McConnell becomes the majority leader in the Senate. Maybe he doesn't. There's no law that says that Boehner is the House Speaker. He could be voted down by his own fellow Republicans. So either A, we lead a charge and a resurrection against him, and we replace them, or B, we hold them accountable and we fire them if they don't do a good job.
So what do you think is the first thing they should do, Wayne? The Republican Congress, presuming that they do win, that it's not stolen, what's the first thing they should do when they get in there?
Well, the first thing I would do is to immediately begin hearings, criminal hearings, first try and help the economy. But let me put that aside for a minute. I'd begin criminal hearings into some of the crimes of Barack Obama. And I also immediately put a bill on his desk to repeal Obamacare and make him veto it. I'd immediately put a bill on his desk to make sure that he, I'm trying to remember, I lost my train of thought. I have so many things in line, Kerry, to do. I lost my train of thought. But, when he said, if you like your insurance, you can keep it, a crime was committed. Internal documents showed he knew millions would lose their insurance. So, and their jobs as well. Everything's become a part-time nation. Here's a text I got today from a friend of mine who's a big shot union leader, but he's always liked me. And he sent me a text today and said, there's a chance here for the Republican Party to get the unions on their side because unions have been destroyed. He says, what's your take on the forced 30-hour work week that's going to destroy all the unions in America? And is there a chance we could turn them to the Republican Party? Because of Obamacare, the 30-hour work week is becoming the norm, and it's contributing to the destruction of the middle class. No one can live off of 30-hour work weeks. Even the unions are screwed. There's a note from a friend of mine who's a union guy. So, you've got to begin investigations as to who knew what and when. You've got to begin investigations to the IRS scandal, Benghazi, Fast and Furious, AP bugging, the NSA listening into the American people. There's so many scandals. The VA scandal. I can't keep up with them all. So that's number one. Hold people accountable. Hold their feet to the fire. Number two, repeal Obamacare. It's got to be done, or we're going to have a nation of part-time jobs, and people are going to starve to death, and the middle class will be murdered, such is the name of my book, The Murder of the Middle Class. That's the point of it all. So those are the first two things that come to my mind. IRS scandal, hold people accountable as one, and number two is repeal Obamacare. Number three would be drill, put bills on Obama's desk that we're going to allow massive new drilling offshore, onshore, fracking everywhere. Make him veto it and prove to the middle class that he wants higher bills and he's going to destroy us. Put him on record that he doesn't want progress in this country.
Yeah. Hey, I don't know if you caught this article about Sharryl Atkinson that her.
I did.
Okay.
The enemies list, right?
Yeah, and that they took over her computer. It was taken over by presumably a domestic government agency. Pick your alphabet soup agency, some intelligence agency, accessed her home computer, her office computer. And we know that they did this to the Senate, right?
Right.
We know this is happening. So how about that? I think that's against the law. The last thing I heard,
how about a president's enemies list?
Yeah.
She says she's heard there's an enemies list. Well, I know I'm on it, and I know he came after me and sicked the IRS on me. The enemies list isn't a list where you just go, oh, I don't like these people. It's a list to target people with government agencies, and they did it to me, and they did it to so many hundreds of other critics and big donors.
True the vote. They sent the ATF after her, the IRS, and I think the Department of Labor, but a bunch of different agencies. 20
different agencies came after her. There's no question what happened to her is as un-American as it gets. You know, it's Joe McCarthy, and when Joe McCarthy wanted to call someone a communist, which he turned out to be right about most of them, by the way, but when Joe McCarthy did it, I noticed they called it un-American, and they ruined his life, and he died an alcoholic. And all I could tell you is that Barack Obama is the Joe McCarthy of the left, and it's time to say that. But so here are some simple things that we could do when we retain power. I mentioned the criminal hearings, and I think the IRS is the big one. I think that's the one you take him down with. That's the end of his career, and it's all over, and people go to jail, including Barack Obama, if it's proven it leads to him. But I'm assuming it'll probably stop at Valerie Jarrett, so good. Let's send her to jail. Number 2 is repeal Obamacare. Number 3, simple, pass the Keystone Pipeline. Make him veto it. Number 4, allow all foreign money back into the United States with like a 5% tax. That's the way to bring in trillions of dollars that will go to creating jobs in this country and keep corporations from wanting to inversion, and leave this country. You know, they'll want to come back, and then drill, baby, drill. You know, make us energy independent and make Obama veto all that, and then seal the border. You've got to seal the border, folks. And if we seal the border, Obama will veto that. So put him on record what an evil and horrible human being he is. He's never been on the record on any of these things. He just put off the Keystone Pipeline. You know, no one ever made him give an answer, yes or no. Once he vetoes it, then the unions are against him. The oil workers union, they're all going to scream. The petroleum industry is going to scream. He's destroying America and raising middle-class electric bills. So put him on record.
Yeah, I think accountability, the fresh, cleansing light of sunshine, right? This is the most transparent administration in history, right, Wayne?
It's the most criminal administration in history, with zero transparency and nothing but hidden agendas, always in favor of wrecking the United States and capitalism and the U.S. economy. So we've got to go after these people. If you can't convict someone for committing real crimes against the American people and against the Constitution and against the Treasury and against capitalism, then people are going to do them again and again. They'll be encouraged to do them, and that's unfortunately Obama's entire agenda. Not only should he be in jail for the crimes he's committed, but his goal is to give amnesty in the days after the election to millions of illegals who are here who broke the law to come here. And that's going to encourage millions more to come after them. This is just an irresponsible, reckless, law-breaking administration.
Hey, and, I know we're a little off topic here, but Ebola, all right, like the sensible thing, you ban travel to and from countries that are having outbreaks, right? I mean, that's been done throughout history, and yet we can't figure out a way to do this.
Mm-hmm. It sure seems easy to me. As I've said in quite a few interviews in the last 2 days, have you seen the ads this Sunday when I was watching football, NFL football? There were lots of ads on for, I think it was for a car insurance company, if I'm not mistaken. And they have, the guy Freddy Krueger or whoever it was on one of those Nightmare on Elm Street. Yeah. And he's got the kids. He's about to kill them, and the kids could get in the car and run away, and they'd be safe. And instead they go, no, don't get in the car. Go in the barn where there's lots of saws and knives and chainsaws.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
And even Freddy Krueger, just takes his mask off and starts rolling his eyes, right? Who would make that decision? Well, that's how I feel about Ebola. Who would make the decision to not ban flights in the Ebola zone? Who would say when you come back from the Ebola zone, even as a doctor who's been around people with Ebola, you would not quarantine them, and then you'd let that woman in Maine make a joke of our entire country? She rides around on her bicycle and goes out to eat and laughs in everyone's face and has lawyers sue, and the judge rules in her favor, like it's some sort of a terrible thing to take 3 weeks of her life and tell her until you can prove you don't have Ebola, you don't have a right to come back here and ruin people's lives. It's nice that you made the choice to be a religious Christian and go work for some Christian organization. All that's wonderful. I applaud you if that's the case, or Doctors Without Borders. I applaud doctors for giving up and sacrificing to do that. But you know what? The other people you come back and expose, they didn't make that choice. You have no right to expose my children and my neighbor's children and your neighbor's children who never made the choice to go to the Ebola zone and risk their lives. We didn't risk our lives. You did. So now you have to wait 3 weeks and make sure you can come back into our society. And it is just like choosing the barn with the chainsaws when you're running away from a guy who's going to kill you. You got to be an idiot. And Obama is either an idiot or he's reckless or he's dangerous or he wants us dead. I don't know which one, Kerry. I'm just putting it out there that decision is just like that TV commercial for the car insurance company.
Yeah. So what do you think he's going to do if he loses the Congress? We're going to see a barrage of executive orders and regulations come out, a last hurrah?
Yeah, I think that he's going to want revenge. He hates us anyway. He hates the American people. He hates America. He hates everything we stand for. So, in my opinion, he's going to want to wreak revenge and havoc on the American people. He's going to come after us with a vengeance, and we got to fight back with a vengeance, and we got to impeach him and take him out of the White House. There's nothing else I could say. The man has to be removed from the White House before he destroys us any further than he already has.
Yeah, but is our Congress up to an impeachment and a trial and everything else? And then are these Democrats really going to vote to convict him? Because you can't get rid of him without
only if you could conduct hearings and prove it. I mean, there were Republicans who went against Nixon, and I know the argument is Democrats aren't honest enough to do that. But, let's find out. We got to have criminal hearings and put it in front of the American people. I think it always comes down, Kerry, to the American people. I really do. Mm-hmm. And if the American people are seeing proof that Valerie Jarrett ordered Wayne Root to be audited, and they see proof that she tried to destroy, was it Catherine Engelbrecht? Wasn't that the True the Vote lady?
Engelbrecht, yeah.
People will rise up. People will not allow this. They'll march on the White House. There will be a million man and woman march, and they will literally surround the White House and demand he leave. And he'll leave. He'll be gone. I'm telling you that the people are the only ones who can make this happen, not some Democratic hacks. And Republicans got to force the issue, and by conducting criminal investigations and holding everyone accountable. But right now, let's worry about saving America first, and that's repeal Obamacare and pass the Keystone Pipeline and seal the border. Those are the first three that come to my mind. And then, if the money that's offshore, bring it back at a very, very small penalty, and lower corporate income taxes and lower individual income taxes. All of that should be on the circle.
Get rid of these regulations because they're the equivalent of taxes anyway. Yes. And they're costing us trillions. And let's simplify the damn tax code already. Hey, we're close in age, grew up similar. And I don't know about you, but since I've been a kid, everybody's been bitching about the tax code and how unintelligible it is, how, you got to have a PhD and whatever to be able to figure it out. And we spend like hundreds of billions of dollars a year on taxes. And for what? It's wasted money. And then you start altering your behavior to avoid taxes. And that's not a good thing.
No, it's a bad thing. And you see the results in the economy, and you see the results with jobs. There are none. And so Barack Obama has ruined this country. But again, when I read letters to the editor, I always feel like you learn so much about the American people and what they believe when you read letters to the editor. And I read an article letters to the editor, today's Las Vegas newspaper, and the guy was a liberal, and he was just talking about how all of this is Bush's fault, and Obama's done nothing wrong. It's got nothing to do with Obama. It's got everything to do with Bush and the Republican Party, and how they wouldn't support Obama and help him to pass all these wonderful laws that would have saved America. It's all their fault.
Right.
And you just go, oh, my God. And this is, unfortunately, the intellect of many of Obama's supporters. And then you see Michelle Obama's comments. I don't know if you saw them on Daily Caller this morning, but she gave some last campaign speech just today, and the campaign speech basically said, don't worry about what's in the news. I'm just going to paraphrase. Don't worry about what's in the news. Don't worry about who said, he said, she said. No matter what anybody said, doesn't matter. To just vote Democrat and then go eat some fried chicken afterwards. I swear to God, this is what Michelle Obama said. You all deserve a fried chicken meal after you voted for your interests. Don't worry about what anyone said. Don't even get confused. Don't study anything. Just go vote Democrat and then eat fried chicken.
Yeah, don't let a little thing like the facts get in your way, or the state of the country, or anything else.
Or how about if I said that I'd be a racist? My God, telling Democrats to eat fried chicken after you vote. I mean, I gather she was at some sort of a minority outreach event or some sort of an African-American event, and she thought it important to tell people to vote and then eat fried chicken and not worry about how you're voting, why you're voting, what they believe in. Just vote Democrat. If that's your campaign slogan, you got a problem, folks.
Vote Democrat and eat fried chicken. Did she say to have watermelon for dessert too?
It's scary stuff, man. I don't know how anyone can get away with this. The media is so in the bag. It's incredible, and they just won't report on the election fraud going on, the amount of illegal immigrants being allowed to vote, and of course the worst part is just the media saying there's no voter fraud of any kind going on. There's no need for voter ID. And the more they say it, the more you realize there's massive voter fraud. They're covering up. It's the only way they win elections. And no one will bother to tell you can't collect food stamps, welfare, or Obamacare without photo government-issued voter ID, or I say ID that would serve as voter ID, but government ID with a photo on it, or you can't collect your food stamps. So there isn't one person in America who collects welfare, food stamps, or Obamacare who couldn't also present the same ID at the voting booth. The reason they're calling it racist, and they shouldn't have to present it, and they're making up excuses why they don't have it when we know they have it, or they couldn't collect their welfare, is because they're cheating to win elections.
Yeah, and you saw it in North Carolina, and they just arrested O'Keefe because he's conspiring to fix an election by showing the fraud that's taking place.
Was James O'Keefe arrested today?
Yeah, I read that he got arrested.
Wow.
That he got arrested. Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
Don't have the full details, but, he's been arrested before. And, it's always when he's, blowing the whistle on the fraud that they can't have that, and they got to get him out of the way. And, this is the system. So, I wanted to just briefly touch upon Ferguson, what happened there, not exactly related to the election, but, by all accounts, cop was attacked, guy goes for his gun, he hits the cop in the face, he's fighting for the cop's gun. We know this because the autopsy showed that there was a gunshot in Michael Brown's hand, and there was a powder residue there, and there were shell casings in the car. So, it's just amazing to me how this thing looked apparently spearheaded by the White House or those close to the White House became a whole cause,
And don't forget that transparent administration made sure that for a 2-week period, all helicopters were banned from flying over Ferguson. So you couldn't see what was happening. That's so transparent of them. So, listen, I called this from day one. I think I was the first guy in the country, as far as the election goes, the first guy to say that there was going to be a landslide on Election Day today, and I'm very proud of that prediction. We'll see if it comes true tonight, but I believe all polls show it's happening. And I was the first guy in the country to come out and say that Officer Darren Wilson is innocent in Ferguson, and then there's no way they're going to get a grand jury to indict him. And, of course, we all know that's what the result is. Anyone with a brain knows. I've seen all the information, and basically what's happened is they've already said they want to make the announcement on a Sunday when everyone is home or at church, not in schools. They won't be rioting in the streets because they know the announcement is going to be that the grand jury refused to indict Officer Wilson. He didn't do anything wrong. He was fighting for his life and defending the lives of the citizens of that town. So, it's the usual stuff. Nobody cares about facts anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like Daniel Patrick Moynihan said, you can have your own opinion, but you're entitled to your own opinion, but not your own facts. And the facts just totally took a backseat to the emotions. And,
not emotions, agenda. The agenda of Holder and Barack Obama. By the way, with all this voter fraud going on all across America today, and thank God, I don't think it's going to stop a landslide, but there's still going to be attempts at massive voter fraud and illegals voting and people getting in line and vote Democrat 10 times. And the only thing Holder does is he asks monitors to go and make sure that black votes the black vote is not being held back. I mean, it's the most incredible thing I've ever seen in my entire life. This is, as Ben Stein said today, the most racist president in American history.
Yeah. Yep.
Ben Stein said that.
Yep. Hey, Wayne, your website, your book, where do you find them?
Yeah, the website's rootforamerica.com, rootforamerica.com. The book is The Murder of the Middle Class, and I've actually got a phone number for all of you to get the book free. You don't have to spend a dime.
Cool.
We'll send it to you free, shipping free. Everything about it is free, and the DVD comes with it free. And so The Murder of the Middle Class free at 855-700-ROOT, 855, toll-free number, 855-700-700, ROOT, R-O-O-T, like my last name, or numerically, 855-700-7668. Only on your show, we're going to give everybody a chance to get the book free.
All right. We love it. And you'll find the link on financialsurvivalnetwork.com. Sign up for the newsletter. And hey, hopefully, Wayne, the next time we talk, better times ahead for the country.
I hope so. Listen, I know Obama's going to try and hurt us after the election, but in the meantime, I suggest everybody celebrate and have a good time for 48 hours, because then we're going to need to rest up and the battle begins. So let's celebrate. Let's not look past the gift horse here. We're going to win. We're going to win big, and I want to celebrate it. Thanks, Kerry.
Thanks, Wayne.
FSN Radio. It's all about what's next. Go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com and sign up for your free weekly newsletter. You'll also get 3 free reports. The Financial Survival Network. It's all about what's next.